All right, so your solutions to your practice 3, fairly easy. We distribute, our little Oprah property. You get a 6, you get a 6, you get a 6, you get a 2, you get a 2. All right, y'all are so smart. Let's move it on to the next part. Matrix multiplication dot product, okay? What this means is that you're now multiplying 2 matrices together. Not 1 times a number, it's 2 matrices together. In order for this to happen, if you look right here, the dimensions have some relation. The number of columns in the first matrix has to equal the number of rows in the second matrix, okay? So they have to, that is the smiley face. It has to be equal, okay? What's remaining, the number of rows in the first one and the number of columns in the second one, those are going to be the dimensions of your product matrix. Okay? You're probably wondering, how do I figure that out? I'm glad you asked, okay? The way you figure that out is what I call the smile test. So for example, if I have a matrix that is a 1 by 2 times a 2 by 4, I'm going to start in the middle. Do these 2 match up? Yes, they do. Look at that happy little number situation. Okay, they match up. So that means your solution is going to be a 1 by 4 matrix. That's going to be your output. All right. However, if I was to do it as 2 times 2 by 4 times 1 by 2, do they match up? No, it's a sad situation. Okay, there's no product. All right, so do we see how the smile test works using the dimensions? Yeah, all right, cool. So next is the pattern of multiplication. So you remember how on practice 1, example B, we use the matrix, we set up as a matrix, and we multiplied everything that was involved with X to X and everything was Y to Y. Okay, that was dot product. You multiplied, you did matrix multiplication right there. Okay. The way matrix multiplication works is it's every element in the first row of the first matrix times every element in the first column of the next matrix. And you're adding their products together. So how does that look? I'm multiplying A times A2 plus B1 times C2. And that's going to be my first element in my solution, in my product. Now I'm going to repeat it. I'm going to do A times B2 plus B1 times D2. That's going to be the second element of my matrix. I'm going to repeat this process again, but for the second row. So we have C1 times A2 plus D1 times C2. That's going to be my third element of my product matrix. Okay, and then our last element comes from C1 times B2 plus D1 times D2. The beauty about the highlights is now that you can see that I utilize every element in each matrix the exact same number of times. Do we see that? Yeah. And no matter how big the matrix is, that's what you're going to do every time. Every element in the first row times every element in the first column. Every element in the first row times every element in the second column. Every element in the first row, and it keeps going. Then you go on to the next row and you repeat. All you're doing is multiplying and adding skills that you spent a good portion of your academic education learning how to do and do well. Okay. All right. Are you ready to apply this skill? All right. For our class, our main goal is to be able to do 2 by 2s times 2 by 1s. Okay. And if we did the smile test, would these work? Yeah. A 2 by 2 times a 2 by 1 times a 2 by 2 times a 2 by 1. Trying, man. 2 by 1. Does it smile at you?
Yes.
Yes. And what are you going to produce? A 2 by 1 as your answer. Okay. So let's go through and do it. You see that little happy situation? Doesn't it look like a real happy number?
And nobody did that.
Y'all can't see that smile?
They talk about the number.
Oh,
It's yellow.
but it looks like a happy face.
Not really.
Okay. I feel like y'all are haters. And we shall 2 by 2 times 2 by 1. Smile. And the product is going to be a 2 by 1. Is that better?
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so here we go with the math. So if you don't want to do highlighters, I'm going to show you the line test, okay? So the line test, but the line model works like this. I know I'm making a 2 by 1. So I have 3 times 2 plus -1 times 3. That's my first element, and it's done. Now I'm going to go on to the second row. I have 4 times 2 plus 0 times 3. Did I create a 2 by 1? I'm going to clean it up. 3 times 2 is 6. -1 times 3 is -3. 4 times 2 is 8. 0 times 3 is 0. So what is my product matrix? And that is it. Okay. All right. I want you to try 2. Of course I do. Let me know if you need my helping hand. Yeah.
I didn't understand this.
Okay. So.
So to these two, and
Mhm.
then those two.
Regard your plus sign. So each time you multiply, you none. So we did A1 times A2 plus B1 times C2. That's my first one. And we did A1 times B2 plus B1 times B2. That's my second element. Third, I'm on to the third element, the second row. C1 times A2 plus B1 times C2. Yep. Now it's always small. You got it. I want the bell to catch us, so I'm gonna start going over number 2. Is that cool? Sure. All right, so number 2, we already know it passes the smile test. So we're gonna be making a 2 by 1. So we have -5 times 1, which is -5 times 1. -5 plus 0 times 7, which is 0. Then we have 3 times 1, which is 3, plus 1 times 7, which is 7. So what is my product? -510. Yeah. It wasn't bad. I know you want it to be, but it wasn't. And it's okay for you to admit it. Okay. All right. So I would like for you to practice 3 and 4 and try and see how it goes for you. And then tomorrow we're going to tie it all together with practice 5. And then you'll have the rest of the class period tomorrow to work on your assignment. Got it? All right. Y'all are great. Awesome.